with the short line industry. Success was not always achieved in a straight line. And over the last century, the industry has had its periods of decline and uncertainty.
30 to 50 years ago, our industry was in near collapse financially.
In the face of federal overregulation, the national railroads were forced to downsize. This severed connections to small businesses and created real economic hardships for local communities. But it was the short line business owners who would step up and change the railway landscape for decades to come.
The short lines provided a convenient way for the Class I carriers to execute a downsizing strategy.
Many communities in our country would not have access to this rail freight network without short line freight railroads.
One of the things you have to be open to be a successful short line is change. And this industry has continued to change throughout its history.
And with perseverance, business savvy, and a lot of risk-taking, short line members have survived 100 years of changing times. In 1913, 22 short line railroad managers met in Atlanta to form the Short Line Railroad Association of the Southeast. Their primary purpose was to deal with legislative matters, particularly amending the railway mail pay law. Annual association dues were just $5. By its 1915 annual meeting, the organization had grown to 75 members, but there was dissatisfaction with the leadership. Although he was not present at the meeting, they elected Mr. Bird Robinson as president. He was told that if he did not accept the position, then the organization would likely dissolve.
Well, Bird Robinson, who was at the time building the Tennessee Railway, took on the task and served as the association's president. He faced daunting financial and organizational obstacles, and he stayed with that job until 1933. He passed away in that position at that time, but he really did lay the foundation and established the platform and the template for how the association would work up until today.
And surviving 100 years would not be easy. Short line businesses had to remain agile when faced with larger events of the 20th century. In World War I, short lines were left out of the nationalization of railroads, threatening their ability to secure rates and routes. At the beginning of the Great Depression, 50% of all short lines reported net losses, and that figure increased to 65% in the early 1930s. The advent of the interstate highway system in the 1950s and the continuation of overregulation brought the entire industry to its knees by the 1970s. Association membership that had once peaked at 492 short lines in 1925 was down to 214 short lines 50 years later.
Short lines are not the largest segment of the national transportation system. Our importance is not our size, but who and where we serve. The small railroads really provide a great connectivity with their customers, so they are very flexible, very adaptable, and very fast on their feet when it comes to meeting customer needs.
At one time we were smaller, we used equipment that was inferior or had inferior track, but over time, by doing a good job and meeting our customers' needs, we're able to make investments that allow us to use up-to-date equipment and to do all the things that's necessary to meet customers' needs over the long term.
The regulations that were in place and a lot of other factors were leading to the absolute decline of our industry. And in the 1970s and 1980s, several of the Class I railroads wisely spun off branch lines to local entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs took over those branch lines, turned them into independent companies, short line railroads, and for the most part it's been just a raging success in terms of preserving rail service to those local communities.
Since 1980, short lines have grown from 8,000 miles of track to 50,000 miles today. These short lines connect the rural communities of America and provide a viable, affordable means of transportation.
It gives you a great sense of pride when you're driving down the road and you're looking at your company's track and you recognize that without your company, the local co-ops wouldn't be able to ship their grain to the market as efficiently and as cost-effectively as they can.
The key to short line success is our close proximity to rail customers. Small railroads occupy about a third, 50,000 miles of the rail network. That critical piece is related to ensuring that commodities are picked up or delivered. 550 short lines each day are operating, trying to ensure that they're getting the goods to the right place at the right time at great value.
We're there on the ground, boots on the ground with the customer every day.
Our operating plans are designed around what our customers need.
Small customers are not small customers to small railroads.
If they need 10 switches a day, we will go out there and give them 10 switches.
With a real focus on those last mile, first mile customers and a real direct personal service to those customers.
Service is the critical component, and the competition is steady with trucks day in and day out. And so the short lines are pushed to ensure that, one, their service is superior, and that, two, that they're charging less than a truck, because a truck's got tremendous flexibility. A short line railroad will give you much greater value in the long haul.
A lot of these commodity-based companies are working on pennies on the dollar, pennies on the pound, pennies on the ton.
If we weren't there, our customers would have to do everything by truck, and truck rates in general are higher than rail rates. It would hurt their ability to stay competitive and sell their products in the marketplace, and that could be disastrous for jobs and industry.
In September 1913, the same month of the first Short Line Association meeting, Railway Age recommended that railroad employees stop wasting coal and practice fuel economy. Today, short line railroads are delivering on the promise of fuel efficiency.
The railroad mantra about 1 gallon of fuel moving 1 ton of freight 436 miles can't be beat.
For environmental benefits, we are by far that much more efficient on a ton-mile basis than any other form of transportation.
100 years ago, the Short Line Association began as a 22-member regional association. Today, ASLRRA is a national association of 550 short lines and 400 rail suppliers and contractors. In 2013, over 1,700 industry representatives are in attendance at the largest short line meeting ever organized.
There have been 10 Short Line Association presidents before me, and while the many short line industry successes have occurred on our watch, we have not been the moving parties. What has sustained short line railroading for 100 years, good times and bad, has been an entrepreneurial spirit. Members of this industry are eager to work hard, willing to take financial risk, capable of seeing potential opportunity when others fear only potential failure.
The small short line railroads are really entrepreneurial in nature. They're small businesses. They deal with the customers right on the ground every single day.
Our goal every day is to deliver the right car in the right condition at the right time for the right price.
Short lines live off of a lot of singles and doubles. You don't have to hit home runs, but we understand that if you hit a lot of singles and doubles, everybody's going to win. That's kind of the way we look at things.
The people that work in this industry have a passion for the railroad industry, and they are more than willing to share that with anybody that's willing to listen.
For the first time in decades, prospective customers are coming to us saying, I heard about you guys, I heard of the good things you do, I heard the great local service you provide.
We're celebrating the effectiveness and the importance of an industry. The small railroad industry and its members are the gold standard for small business models. The nation's economy is closely tied to the railroads. We provide the economic footing to trade, to export, to import, and to deliver. And that is what will sustain our industry for the next 100 years.